Hello there, Mediocre Painter here, Mr. K, and I do YouTube videos to get you into the wargaming hobby, because I've made the mistakes so you don't have to. So today, I'm finally going to follow up a video I did some months ago now, about squats in Kill Team. So previously I talked about models and the like, somewhere up here, and what models you might be able to use to actually represent squats and how you might work the lore into their rules and things like that. So just to give you a brief sort of summary of that, there are some good models out there that you can use from Age of Sigmar, like the Kharadron Overlords or a Cogsmith. There's some, if you dig around a bit with Necromunda, you can find some old squat Venators, and also there's some new stuff from Forge World as well, if you want to fork out a bit more. There's a couple of squats in Forge World, which are very nice. Also, there's Mantic have some with their Forge Fathers, but Hassle Free have some really nice stuff called Grim models, which I really do like as well. So those are probably kind of what you're going to be looking for. I mean, you could go digging around looking for the older, squat models from Games Workshop, but they can be pretty pricey. So let's start with sort of general rules, around the squats in Kill Team. So it seemed to me to make sense that they really should have something unique about them in terms of fitting into the Imperial universe. Like, there's often strong emphasis on squats, basically understanding science and technology, not being so religious about it, and as well as, their technology is Imperium standard, but it works, they remember how to make it and manufacture it, etc., and so on. So we've got that kind of flavour, but also we have to remember as well as, there's some historical things about the squats. They had wars with the orcs, and obviously they've had their homeworlds wiped out by the Tyranids. So with no further ado, let's have a look at what I wrote. So I've got hatred for orcs and Tyranids. Squats have got long memories, and now the ancient wars with the orcs are still well remembered, and Tyranids practically wiped them out. So we've got hatred for orcs and Tyranids. I then wanted them to kind of have something, that represented the fact that they're really sturdy and they don't have any problems carrying around heavy weapons. So I thought, well, maybe they've got better suspensor technology, and maybe they don't get a penalty for carrying around heavy weapons, but they don't really have heavy weapon specialists because basically they've just got so many people who carry around heavy weapons instead. So I've kind of gone for the suspensor technology rule, and then which basically says squats are naturally sturdy and technologically have developed sophisticated suspensor technology. As such, any squat heavy gunner can carry a heavy weapon without the normal penalty to move and shoot. Squats, however, do not have heavy specialists. And then I also wanted to try and negate the sort of disadvantage that they would have in a shooty game like 40k when they don't move all that fast. But also, traditionally squats are better in melee than they are at shooting. So they're 4s to shoot, and they would be 3s in melee. So in order to sort of counteract that a little bit, I thought, well, their stuff is better, so maybe their stuff has got a longer range. So the other thing I thought was, well, targeting technology. So squat weaponry based on standard Imperial patterns is superior to that used by the Imperium. Extend the range of Imperial weapons based on las, bolt, grav, melter, plasma, and flame by 25%. And I've tested this a little bit, and it seems to kind of work out. There might be a little nuance there that I probably want to change. That might be a bit powerful, so maybe it's sort of a case of saying, actually, if they don't move, they get extended range. So, also, one of the things that I don't like about Kill Team is the fact that the models don't have close combat knives. Now, every Marine's got a knife, but it's not listed as part of what they have, and so they're beating you to death with their fists in hand-to-hand combat if they're armed with like a Stalker pattern bowler. It doesn't make sense to me. And so no self-respecting squat would be without a knife. So basically they've all got a combat knife by default, so they can actually, properly defend themselves in hand-to-hand combat. And it's got the typical knife rules, you get an extra attack. I then had a look online, and particularly 1D4chan has got some quite interesting sort of rules around squats, and I had a look at what they were sort of pushing the squats towards, and they sort of settled on squats having unique shot weaponry. So I thought, oh, that's quite good. I'll use that. So basically, because squats are now a spacefaring race, they have developed weaponry that won't basically damage ship interiors, and so basically we've got these shot weapons. So we've got a shot pistol, range 12, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1, at half range you get +1 strength. Shot rifles, assault 2, range 24, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1, at half range add 1 to the strength of the weapon. And rotary shot cannons, heavy 4, range 30, strength 6, AP 0, damage 1, at half range add 1 to this weapon's strength. I also added in rules around exotic shot, kind of copying a little bit from the Death Watch. So you can put in different types of shot. You've got Rad, Seeker, Piercing and Flechette. Rad being +1 to runes, Seeker being +1 to hit, Piercing being -1 to AP, and Flechette for infinite injury models you may reroll for wounds. I thought that was kind of give it a nice little flavour as well. One of the other things as well that kind of annoys me about the modern 40k 8th edition rules is a chainsword is basically no better than like a sword. And I'm like, what? It must have at least some armour penetration, otherwise what's the point in the rotating teeth? So a squat chainsword does actually have that. It's got strength as user, but it's got a -1 AP, because I'm like, a squat chainsword should be better, so let's make it better. So what about command abilities? So I've kind of nabbed these, these are abilities that are already present for other kill team factions. So I've got Go Out Fighting, which is 2 points, just basically use this tactic when a model from your kill team is taken out of action. That modern sun has the strength for one final action, that can be fight or shoot. You got Stubborn in the face of adversity, that's 1 point, use this tactic in your turn in the morale phase, and they roll a d3, not a d6 for morale tests. Experimental ammo, use this tactic when you choose a model to fire with a shot weapon. The ammo round gains +1 strength and a -1 AP, in addition to whatever the ammo characteristics are. Wait until you see the whites of their eyes, that's basically stolen from the Imperial Guard. It's basically a 5+ Overwatch rule for 2 command points. And then Tough as Old Boots, when the model's taken action, you can roll a d6 and 4+ that model has a flesh wound. They seem to kind of fit with the sort of squat theme. I guess if I thought about it a bit more, I could come up with something unique, but it seems like in a lot of cases the command point rules are kind of shared across the factions anyway, they're just called a different name. Okay, so now on to troops. I kind of came up with 3 troop selections. First one was basically guildless refugees. So basically the destruction of the squat home worlds has basically left many squats without a guild to call their home, and basically they're trying to prove themselves and actually join a guild. So they're a slightly worse profile than a standard guilder, but basically they've got a very traditional sort of basic squat profile of, which used to be back in the original 40k was 3 to move, 3 weapon skill, 4 weapon skill, 3 ballistic skill, strength 3, toughness 4. So transposing that, in these days everything's kind of gotten a little bit quicker. So if they're 4s to move, 3 on the weapon skill side of things, ballistic skill of 4s, strength 3, toughness 4, wounds 1, attacks 1, leadership 7, save of 5+. These guys have got las guns, combat knives, and frag grenades. Refugees may swap their las gun and combat knife for a las pistol and squat chainsword. Gunners may swap their las gun for a plasma gun, grav gun, flamer, Weber, grenade launcher, melta gun, or sniper rifle. So kind of really making them, a pretty Imperial Guardy unit. Trying to emphasise the fact that, squats can basically take all kinds of different weapons because they can still make it themselves. The sergeant may swap the las gun for a combat knife for a plasma pistol and squat chainsword, or bolt pistol and squat chainsword. No special abilities for these particular units. They've got leader, comm, sniper, and medic as specialists. Faction keywords squats, Imperial, and keywords of infantry, Imperium, and guildless. Then I decided that the squats really needed some kind of assault unit. And I saw a rule in a campaign that Mini Wargaming were doing, and that basically got the grey cells going, and I decided to incorporate that into these guys. So these guys are basically They train hard to belie their small stature and be surprisingly quick over short distances and surprise their foes. They've got a shot pistol, a shot chainsword, and armed with frag grenades. The standard squat profile for the Assault Gilder. The Assault Gilder Sergeant has basically got a better leadership and an additional attack, and they're 4+ save. So they've got carapace armor basically. The Assault Guilders may swap their shot pistol for a bolt pistol. The Assault Gilder Sergeant may swap their squat's chainsword for a power sword or a power fist. And the Assault Gilder Sergeant may swap their shot pistol for a plasma pistol, bolt pistol, or grav pistol. They've got the general rules for squats, but they've also got an additional rule. This is the one that I pinched from Mini Wargaming. Assault models can opt to sprint in the movement phase. If they do, they can advance and charge. Furthermore, they can roll 3d6 and choose the best one when advancing, when sprinting. After sprinting, roll a d6, and on a 4+, the model is exhausted and cannot use the ability for the rest of the battle. I'm contemplating sort of maybe changing that a little bit and, maybe make it so that they can't charge for the rest of the battle or something like that, because it can be powerful sometimes, but generally speaking in Kill Team you only make one charge, so it kind of seems to work out all right, and it's kind of like giving them all scout. So this has got leader, comms, combat, zealot, medic, veteran. I took out the idea of giving them scout there simply because, well, it kind of got a 3d6 thing going on anyway. Okay, so now the last one, which is basically a Gilder tactical squad. I couldn't really think of a better name, to be honest. So basically, standard sort of squad profile like we've had before, and the Gilder Sergeant like we've had before. So these guys can have 3 heavies. This is basically like your Devastator unit, I suppose. They've got a shot rifle, combat knife, and frag. And the Gilders may swap their shot rifle for a shot pistol and chainsword. Heavies may swap their shot rifle for a heavy bolter, stalker bolter, rotary shot cannon or heavy stubber. One heavy may swap for a plasma cannon, auto cannon, mining laser, grav cannon, seismic cannon or conversion beamer. I just went the whole hog there and just went, they can have everything. And I picked the mining stuff from, the Genestealers because, squads are miners. I mean, come on. So, why not? One heavy may swap for a multi-muzzle flamer. Sergeant may swap their combat knife for a squat, chainsword, or pistol. Sergeant may swap their shot rifle for a plasma pistol, bolt pistol, shot pistol, or grav pistol. No special abilities. You got leader, comm, sniper, medic, demolitions, veteran. Faction keywords squats, keywords infantry, Imperium, and Gilder. So those are the rules. And what about the points cost? So these might need a little bit of a tweak, but basically what I've got right now is the refugees and refugee gunners are at 6, refugee sergeants at 7. I think it's maybe I need to go 7s and 8s there. I've got Gilders at 8, Gilder heavies at 9, Gilder sergeant at 9, assault Gilder at 9, and assault Gilder sergeant at 10. And then I've got like the cost of the weapons. This is just plucked really from the Kill Team list, so you can pick this out yourself in the book, but just a quick whiz through it. Autocannons 5, bolt pistol zip because it's a swap, conversion beaver 5, flamer 3, grav cannon 4, grav gun 2, grenade launcher 2, heavy bolter 2, heavy flamer 2, heavy stubber, it's a swap, so it's a 0. Last gun 0, melter gun 3, mining laser 3, multi-melter 5, plasma cannon 5, plasma gun 3, plasma pistol 1, rotary shot cannon 3, seismic cannon 2, shot pistol 0, shot rifle 0, sniper rifle 1, stalker pattern bolter 1, Weber 1. And then melee weapons, you've got squat change sword, which is zip because it's a swapper. Power sword 1, power fist 2. That might need some tweaks because I might not quite have got it right, and the swapping and things like that. But that's where we are at this moment in time. Now that's basically it. So if you do like this, then message me or whatever, and I'll drop the document off to you and let me know how it goes. I've played it a couple of times myself. I actually developed rules for Shadow War Armageddon first. And tested it with that because I find Shadow War Armageddon is a little bit balanced because of the way the point system works. it's a little bit easier to get it smoothed out. I played it a couple of times with Kill Team. It does seem to work. Makes them pretty competitive, but not like indestructible or unbeatable or whatever. So generally speaking, in Kill Team, having a movement of 4 is a bit of a downer. But it's cool, it's fun, they play kind of squatty. I use Kharadron Overlords actually for the Kill Team that I have because it makes it look kind of cool. Which kind of makes me think that maybe I need to do a bit of customization on the Arcanauts and make their cutlasses look a bit more like chainswords, and that would really give a really nice look that would fit into the 40k realm, because they're kind of very steampunky anyway, so they've got a bit of a sci-fi thing going on with them anyhow. Okay, I hope you like that. If you did, please like, please subscribe. I will be doing more, and I will catch you next time.